The topic 1 is about conventional general cargo handling, including cargo gear. Cargo handling equipments. We have ship gear. There are 3 main categories of the ship gear. We have standing rigging, running rigging, and deck fittings. And we have lifting equipments on board, like canvas links, endless links, round slings, pallet, chain slings, bail hook, vehicle spreader, shackles. And the last one, that kinds of derrick based on this patent system is Hallen. Hallen is the boom is connected with the lower part of the mast like a letter Y. And you have a bell derrick. The bell derrick is quite similar to Hallen but without use of outriggers. And that is what I've learned in the topic 1. Thank you.
Hatch cover. Hatch cover construction. Hatch cover are lightweight steel grillage. Modern design method using finite element technology enable more efficient material distribution which result thinner structure. So what is a hatch cover in your own definition? Hatch cover is a primarily structural and watertight barrier to prevent water ingress into cargo hold and to protect the goods from being damp and damaged. Regular maintenance and prompt repair of damaged cover, securing and so forth are essential to maintain fitness for purpose and in a particular to maintain sufficient strength to resist green seas landing on hatches in extreme weather and to maintain a barrier against ingress of water during normal seagoing weather condition. So this is the type of hatch cover. The first is folding type hatch cover. Folding type hatch cover consists of 2 flat top panel which are operated via hydraulic arms. This may be fitted on both weather deck as well as twin deck. A major advantage in the design of folding type hatch cover, it is a large size which means a smaller number of panels. So ang folding types daw is for a weather deck can be either of the low or high stowing type. Then the low stowing version and the single foot hatch cover are designed in a number of panel configuration. Next is the rolling types hatch cover. Rolling hatch cover consists of 2 cover at the end of the hatchway. Wheels are fitted which help in the sliding of the panel either outwardship in case of side rolling or longitudinally in case of end rolling. This type of hatch cover are usually fitted on large ship. Hydraulic arms are required to raise them to rolling position as they are extremely heavy and have very large dimensions. So ang rolling type daw ay yung gumugulong sa tabihan. Yung parang sliding bintana ganun. So the next is the lifting type. Single panel cover consists of a single cover for each opening. This can be seen mainly or book carrier. Sa lifting hatch cover naman, it usually multi-panel units designed so that there are several panels for each hatch opening. They can be opened in an independent order and they allow partial hatch cover opening. Hatch cover are opened with a springer using a vessel crunch or container crunch on shore. And the next is, in case of multi-panel cover, a single hold is discovered via multiple number of covers. These are most commonly observed in a circular container ship in case of longitudinal joints and for multi-purpose cargo ship in case of transverse joints. The next is the piggy bank. Piggy bank hatch cover are used on boat carrier when the available space is insufficient to accommodate folding, side rolling, or and to support the lifted funnel on its back. So, ang piggy bank hatch cover system always comprised of two panels, with one panel being raised high enough for the other to roll underneath and to support the lifted funnel on its back. Both panels can be rolled back and forth. Piggy bank developed a highly automated hatch cover system to meet the cargo access need to bulk carrier who design required the hatch opening to be up to the 80% of a ship but without of any stowing space on either direction. The high lift is the standard high lifter system consists of the fore and hydraulic cylinder. Reliable synchronization of the cylinder is achieved through system or flow distribution control valve. The next is stacking cover type. Stacking cover type, this is a facility are used to ship having relatively smaller hatch cover. It consists of a hydraulic power lifting crane facility whose purpose is to lift the cover longitudinally and stack it together at the one end or over any empty storage tank. It is relatively cheap and is used mostly in barge. Stacking hatch cover is for vessel is required to relatively small, simple hatch cover system. Stacking hatch cover for weather decks are good choice. They are usually all hydraulic in operation, and the panels move in the stowage or the closing position in a specific sequence. A set of comprise several panels, each of which is fitted with a towing device that can be connected to move the funnel to end from a stacking position by a continuous chain drive mechanism. So, the hatch cover inspection. In the inspection, cargo hatch cover are important to the safety of the vessel, crew, and cargo, ensuring weathertight integrity while at the sea is the primary objective of the hatch cover. Several reported casualties are related to the loss of watertight integrity due to the compliance of hatch cover steel structure or failure of securing and locking device. So, ang hatch cover inspection daw ay napaka-importante sa barko kasi hindi natin masisigurado kung maayos nga ang pagkakalagay ng hatch cover do sa cargo hold. Then, a number of reporter casualty is related to the loss of the watertight integrity due to failure or securing and locking device. In addition, a cargo hatch cover are protected the stowage cargo in the hold damage due to the water ingress. Particularly in the cargo is sensitive to water damage. It must be noted that the significant portion of all cargo-related claims are caused by water damage, and many of these are related to seawater ingress through cargo hatch cover. The difference between watertight and weathertight. Watertight cover prevent the passage of water when exposed to a head of water. A typical head of water for a ship could range from 3 to 10 meters. A weathertight is the design that it can be subject to the adverse weather condition experienced offshore. It is also designed to withstand brief submersion experience from green seas. So, ang As described, watertight and weathertight. A watertight prevents the water when exposed to a head water. A typical head of water for a ship could range from 3 to 10 meters. Ayun nga. A watertight is While a watertight is designed to be located of the deck of the ship, both above the water line, where they can be subject to the adverse weather condition experienced offshore. The difference the watertight and the weathertight is also designed to stand the brave submersion experience from green seas. This means a weathertight can be stand a small head of water generally no higher than the height. Watertight are tested using a previous pressure tank where our hydrostatic pressure can be applied. The watertight generally pressure from the inside, as this is worst case scenario. Next is tightness test. The choke test is the often carried out when the vessel is new in the shipyard. All compression bar are rubbed with a piece of chalk. Thereafter, the hatch cover are put in place and secure and then opened again. Sa chalk test daw, yun lang ay sa bago daw, mga bagong barko na tinitingnan kung yung nilalagyan ng pag magte-test ng chalk, tinitingnan kung kung matatanggal ba yung chalk na nilagay o hindi. In hostess naman, the hostess is the traditional way of the testing hatch cover. It is easy to carry out of the crew can do the job and the expensive as the fire hose with a nose of the good water pressure from the fire pump. It all that it's needed. So sa hostess naman is the ability to the most commonly use hatch cover to prevent water ingress depends up to the extended watertight seal between section of rubber packing of steel compression bar. Yun. A hostess involved the playing of a jet of water along the cross joint and the perimeter seal of the hatch cover at the certain minimum pressure and distance from the structure. If no water it seems to enter the hold, what the test is demonstrating is the existence of contact between the steel compression bars and the rubber packing. Next is the latest and the most accurate way of the testing hatch cover by using ultrasonic apparatus and unit emitting ultrasound is placed inside the cargo hold and the operator register leakage of ultrasound through the hatch cover using a handle detector. Sa ultrasonic naman, ultrasonic test, ultrasonic is used to equipment is the modern via means to testing watertight integrity of hatch cover, access, hatch door, ventilation, or etc. It is preferable to use class approved equipment
Topic 3. A Cargo Specific Information Part 2. Deck cargoes refer to item or commodities carried on the weather deck and hatch cover of ship and trion exposed to sun, wind, rain, snow, ice, and sea, so that the packaging must be fully resistant to or the commodities themselves not be denatured by such exposure. The safe securing of all deck cargoes shall be checked by competent person before the vessel proceed on passage. The master is responsible for ensuring that it's correctly stowed and secured for the intended voyage. Deck cargo, a large variety of goods because of their inherent properties, may be carried on deck. On deck means an uncovered space and includes deck houses having doors which can be continuously open except in heavy weather. Deck houses and mast houses may be considered suitable for either on or under deck stowage, depending on their structure and closing arrangement. Bills of lading for cargo carried on deck must be closed accordingly, and suitable provision made for the securing of the cargo. It is prudent for the master to check the bill of lading established under which cargo convention the goods are being carried. Goods often carried on deck include dangerous goods, compressed gases, flammable liquid substance giving off inflammable vapors, corrosive substance for which on deck stowage is prescribed on the IMDG code. Heavy logs, sliver, props, sound timber, exceeding that which can be stowed under deck as per charter party. Long structure steel and other forms of steel, heavy bridge girders or section pipes, heavy unpacked machinery and vehicles, boilers and pontons. The stowage and lasting requirements for timber deck cargoes are follows: prior loading timber cargo on weather deck, hatch cover and other opening to space below that area should be securely closed and battened down. The air pipes and ventilator shall be protected from deck cargo. The 2011 TDC code is non-mandatory and applies to all ships of 24 meters or more in length carrying a timber deck cargo. The code aims to ensure that stowage and cargo securing arrangement for timber deck cargoes enable a safe yet rational securing of the cargo so that it is satisfactorily prevented from shifting. Guide on deck. Some containers are designed to carry refrigerated cargo. These special containers have their own cooling plant built on one end of their container, and all that required for the ship to provide is power point for electricity. An example is a tank. The small parcel of liquid is carried on container ship. Lashing of container is very important since typically contained ship has a low GM. Consequently, the ship rolls quite a bit and the stress developed by the cargo swaying is liable to break the lashing and put the containers into the sea. An intermodal container, often called a shipping container, is a large standard size shipping container designed to build for intermodal freight transport, meaning these containers can be used across different modes of transport, from ship to rail to truck, without unloading and reloading their cargo. When a container is loaded over ship, it is secured of the ship's structure and the container placed below it, means by lashing rods, turnbuckles, twist locks, etc. This prevent the containers from the move from their place or fall off into the sea during rough weather or heavy winds.
Good day, I'm Julius Marcel Gonzalez Bibo, presenting the topic about bulk cargo. The primary aims of the International Maritime Solid Bulk Cargo Code, or the IMSBC Code, which replaced the Code of the Safety Practice for Solid Bulk Cargos, or BC Code, is to facilitate the safe stowage shipment of solid bulk cargoes by providing information of danger associated with the shipment of certain types of solid bulk cargoes, and instruction on the procedure to adopt when shipment of solid cargo is contemplated. Here the cargo condition and its effect with respect of seaworthiness and stability of the ship. First, we have the angle of repose. The maximum slope single of non-cohesive or free flowing. The angular materials. It is measured as the angle between horizontal plane and cone slope of the material. Up next, we have to measure the flow moisture point, measure the height of the pile of sand from the peak to the ground. Then measure the horizontal distance from the middle of the pipe of the edge. Third, we need to identify the transportable moisture limit, the maximum moisture content of the cargo which is considered safe for carriage in the ship. Moisture damage is the source of significant number of the cargo claims. While dry cargo vessels are fitted with either natural mechanical ventilation system. In addition to minimizing the onset and degree of sweat, ventilation may also serve to remove the taint and disperse and any gases which some cargoes may emit, and it is under in the term of ventilation. And refrigerated cargoes. Lastly, we need to heel and list. Heel a ship is said to be heeled when she is inclined by an external forces. For example, when a ship is inclined by the action of the waves or wind. Least. A ship said to be least when she is inclined by force within the ship. For example, shipping of the cargo. We also need to tackle about the procedure of the operation in preparing cargo holds. We must consider the compartment must be clean and dry to free of any odor or taint. Hold must be deodorized with mild agent or limes ozones. Bilge to be clean, dry, deodorized, and suction check. The insulation rather, and permanent damage to be checked and repaired as necessary. Scuppers to be clean, brain traps to be checked, test and refilled. Thermometers to be in position, ventilation plugs in position and tightly wedged. And lastly, brain pipes to be tested to ensure they are not choked and that no leaks occur to joints. While in preparing the cargo grains, we must consider the following. First, the hatch cover underneath and hatch combings with their channels drained. Their drainage should be free and loose rust, paint flakes, and cargo residue. Second, cargo holds, bulkhead, and sides and hoppers plates should have no previous cargo dirty stains like coal, dirt, or cargo stain. Third is rust on the tank top of the common on bulk carriers. Loose rust is not accepted. Hard adhering rust need to be removed. The fourth is cargo hold and weather decks should be inspected after cleaning and washing to ensure that there is no trace of any live and dead inspected debris. The fifth is the cargo holds bilge should be clean and free to any trace to previous cargo, reduce or rust particle and odor free. The bilge suction effectiveness should be verified whether deck including cross deck and around the coaming stays underneath pipelings should have no trace and previous cargo service. Lastly is the trimming of the bulk grain cargoes. The partial of leaving of the cargo within the holds by means loading shuts, portal machinery or manually. That's all. Thank you.
Topic 5. Segregation and separation of cargoes. Incompletable materials are those materials which may react dangerously when mixed and are subject to recommendation for segregation. Yung materials daw maaaring dangerous kapag napahalo sa iba. Kaya kailangan ito ay naka-segregate. Dangerous goods. Segregation shall be verified for compliance with requirements of IMDG code. Kailangan kailangan ay sinesegregate yung mga preferred compliance ng requirements of IMDG. Caution must be exercised when using vessel stowage planning software for this purpose, as it may not have comprehensive means of checking for bad stowage and segregation against the last international requirements. It is advisable to manually check for compliance. Required na i-check yung dangerous goods manually. Segregation of different cargoes with reference to dangerous goods. If more than one class of dangerous goods is carried on board, kapag higit sa isang class na daladala sa barko, ayan o, kailangan nilang paghiwalayin ito. Cargoes need to be separated. Ang mga kailangan paghiwa-hiwalayin sa cargo: dry cargo, wet cargo, clean cargo, dirty cargo, delicate cargo, valuable cargo, banknotes, personal effect. The separation of the parcels of the cargo, different port of discharge is required. Kailangan paghiwa-hiwalayin nga ito pa dahil hindi ito pwede magsama-sama. Segregation of different cargoes with reference to dry, wet, and delicate goods. Dirty cargoes should never be carried on the same compartment as clean cargo. Hindi pwede magsama yung clean cargo sa dirty cargo. A general comparison of dirty cargoes should include such commodities as oil, paints, or animals product, whereas clean cargoes would cover the likes of foodstuff or fabrics. Yun nga, hindi pwede. Ang mga example ng dirty cargo ay oil, paint, saka animal product. Delicate cargo naman shall be suitable, marked as fragile, and shall be so stowed that these are handled with care. Kailangan handle with care ang sa delicate cargo dahil baka maging delikado ito. Same shall not to be stowed in the same compartment where heavy cargoes are stowed. There are some of the dry cargoes. Cocoa. Stow away from heat and from other cargoes which are liable to taint. Ilalayo nyo sa mainit na lugar, saka dun sa maaari siyang basa. Coffee. Required plenty of ventilation and susceptible to damage from strong smell goods. Copra. Dried coconut flesh. Liable to heat and spontaneous combination. It could taint other cargoes and cause oxygen deficiency in the compartment. Yun nga, ang copra ay isa sa hindi pwedeng isama sa cocoa dahil ang copra ay maaari na yung ma-taint ang ibang cargo. Parcels of cargo. When two other cargo parcels cannot be segregated by means of applying the liquid, level can be purposely be kept higher for one of the product, thereby ensuring that any possible leak will go in the less direction with regard to contamination of damage. It is essential to use of port marking to separate parcels to discharge at different ports. Yun, kailangan separate parcel para pagka sa i-discharge sa mga port, sa iba't ibang port. When separate parcels of the same cargo are carried together, that a degree of separation between the unit and essential. Yun, kailangan paghiwalay yun sa cargo. Hindi pwedeng magsama-sama, hindi pwede. Depending on the type of goods being shipped will reflect the type of separation method employed. Example of separation materials include color wash, tarpaulins, burlap, paper sheeting, damage, chalk marks, rope, yarns, or polythene sheets. This idea of separation is to ensure that the cargo parcel, although maybe looking that the same, are not allowed becoming mixed. Kanya, mga example ng separation materials, ayan o, color wash, tarpaulins, bull wrap, burlap, paper sheeting, dunnage, chalk marks, rope yarns, sa polythene sheets. Yun ang mga hindi pwede pagsamahin. Cargoes can be loaded together in the same hold or twin deck using various form of separation materials. Ito yung yung mga forms para sa pag-separate ng materials. Tin knitting. Different colors are available, usually synthetic. Rope, paint, at tulad ng water, as it may damage the cargo. For example, timber. Katulad nga ng timber nga daw na nabanggit. Marking pens, chalk, layers of damage, separation of clothes like burlap, plastic sheet, use of markings. Cargo documents. Ito, mate receipt. A mate receipt is a temporary receipt issued and signed for the officer of the vessel to acknowledge the goods ready to be loaded on the ship. This act as evidence that goods were loaded in the vessel, but it does not have the same validity for the instance of the billing. Ang mate receipt ay yun yung temporary receipt para sa mga officer na nasa barko. Bill of loading. A bill of loading indicates a particular carrier through which the goods have been placed to their final destination, and the condition of transporting the shipment to its final destination, land, ocean, and air, are the means used for billing loading. Ang bill loadings naman ay yun yung para malaman yung final destination sa yung condition ng pagta-transport. Boat note. Boat note is a document issued by the port authorities and on the basis of export application and after ascertaining that customs duties are paid under shipping bill and after the payment of port. Yun, ang boat note ay yung yung mga na-issued documents para sa basis of export application. Cargo plan. A ship cargo plan shows distribution as well as disposition of all parcels of cargoes aboard on the vessel. The plan is formulated usually from the workbooks of the deck officer. Yun, ang galing ito sa workbooks ng deck officer. A fair copy being produced before departure from the final port of loading. This will allow copies of plan to be made before the vessel sails. The copies are forwarded to agent at port of discharge to allow the booking of reservation of labor as appropriate. Yon, ang nito ay nanggaling ito sa workbook sa deck officer, itong cargo plan. Saka na-allow nito na mag-copy ng plan para sa mga ibang vessel sales.
Hi, I'm Cadet Rivera Jovis Christian A from BSC Senior 1 Delta, and I'm going to discuss topic 6 about cargo damage. So, let's start. Physical damage. When a cargo damage due to dropping, rolling, breakage, being knocked during transit, etc. Dahil sa bad stowage, nasisira ang mga kargada sa loob ng container. Bad stowage include incorrect, improper, and insufficient lashing, improper loading affecting stability of the ship. Wet damage is damage to cargo due to water and wet condition to cargo exposed to. Kapag ang klima ay nagkakaroon ng moisture, ang kargada dahil nakulong ang mainit na hangin sa loob ng at malamig ang hangin sa labas. Container damage to a cargo when it has been made impure through pollution, poisoning, etc. Dahil sa hindi maayos paglilinis ng cargo hold o container after previous cargo, and by improper storage before shipment and consequent exposure to contaminate by poor separation from another commodity in the same cargo space, etc. Infestation damage. Dahilan ng pagkasira ng kargada ang pagdami ng insekto o hayop, especially rodents in cargo. Damage to temperature. Dahil sa pagbabago ng temperatura, madaling masisira ang mga kargada. Sa picture na ito, ipapakita ang pagbabago ng temperatura sa loob at labas ng mga cargo hold. Rust damage, due mainly to moisture, rain, fresh water, or salt water in sweat, and the presence of oxygen. Rust in corrosion proceeding in declaration and in certain circumstance, heavy beating. The moisture causing must be introduced by leakage, other cargo, packaging, green timber damage, rain when hatch are open. Damage caused by leak transfer. During discharging, minsan nagkakaroon talaga ng pagkakamali sa paglilipat na at nagiging dahilan ng pagsisira ng mga kargada. High loading rate. Dapat ipatigil ang plano ng mga officer in charge kapag ito ay alam nilang delikado na. Asymmetric cargo and ballast distribution. Sa pagdidistribute ng kargada, dapat even para walang pressure sa ibang cargo space. Damage by weather contribution. The master shall inspect the vessel and cargo during navigation in, if practicable, and just after heavy weather condition, and advise company if damage occurred. Discharging. Cargo damage report. Kapag loading, mga officers ang bibigay ng cargo damage report. Kapag discharging, Puerto ang bibigay ng cargo damage report.